Okay, so it's Warren Tone, and I'm here with a special guest. When we're talking about UK Garage, especially in Birmingham, you have to mention this DJ. We're talking about DJ Nighttrate. What's going on, Nighttrate?
How are you doing? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Good to see you. I know we're from different worlds, but we know each other from a long time.
Yeah, we go back a long way. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Watching your progress has been a very exciting and blessed thing to watch, I would say.
Yeah, man. Thanks for that. But let's talk about you now. Let's talk about the DJing side.
No, let's talk about you.
How'd you get into the game?
I was 13. Now, let's go back further. I was in a hip hop group at the age of 5. Me, my cousin, and my cousin Wester, and my other friend Jerome. He's known as Sarasi. He basically used to be Toddler T's MC on Radio 1.
Yeah.
But he was with us when we were kids. So we had many iterations of names as a hip hop group, and we used to, but we ended up with Pure Badness. What happened? All the carnival circuits and all these kind of when Birmingham had, like every city had like local carnivals, so we do all of them as well as the Mac, Cave, everywhere there was. I mean, there was guys like obviously Young Funky Poets and Moorish Doubter and all these other guys rapping, and they were older than us. And the idea was I wanted to start mixing like the whole thing, like the whole like kind of proper crew thing where like you watch Run DMC, you have them Jam Master J and all those guys, and I wanted to add that to our flair, because that's what I realised that none of these other guys had. They were buying instrumentals, but they weren't doing anything with them. They would just put them on, and I wanted to just add some magic. And I said to my aunt, I was in like my aunt lived in Kingshurst, and I said to my aunt, I want to be a DJ, and expecting her to say, like, you can't do that. And she goes, I reckon you're going to be a really good DJ. You love music, and like, and what happened is, I had no money. My mum was raising 2 boys who were probably we weren't problematic to her, but we were problematic to the streets.
Yeah.
Mainly my brother. My brother had a head, but like, and then it just meant that I could fight, but I hate fighting, and it just meant that you kind of like I had to back my own corner because my brother could back his, and
yeah,
and it was like so I plucked up the courage to say, Mum, I want to do this, and she goes, I ain't got no money for that, and I said, she goes, but get yourself a job. So she gave me, instead of just saying, no, we can't afford it, she gave me a route. So I went into town, and I was asking loads of people for jobs, like, and I was 13 and I was young, and people didn't really want a kid to do anything. And then I just went, by chance, I went to my aunt in the markets and said, I don't suppose you got a job for me. And she goes, well, how early can you turn up? I said, yeah, I can get here. Like, so imagine I had to travel 4 miles from my house, which meant I travelled 6 miles away from my school to go work, unload my aunt's van, then get on the bus to do that 6 miles back to school. And then after school, I would have to head straight back to my aunt's store to load up. And it taught me dedication. But within 3 weeks, I had enough to buy a second-hand pair of decks. Well, I bought one and a realistic mixer, and for those who don't know, there was Tandies and then Maplins, and now no more.
Yeah, good days.
And my first deck was a Toshiba. It's really heavy Toshiba with direct drive. I've still got the deck, and I kept it purely to keep me grounded. Because every time there's a point where I think, okay, it's not going my way at the moment, or this and that. I look at that Toshiba deck and I go, you know what? It's always going my way.
Mm.
I'm a long way from there. And then I bought another one, which is a Sony one, and I put them together. And they were both direct drives because I was told by a lot of guys, like direct drive was better than belt driven. But I bought my first decks, and we've been I wanted to. I was eager to play, and these people I'm talking about now. My aunt, she's sadly passed away, and then there was Ruben Irie, who used to be on Premiere, and he was my mum's. So his mum, I called an aunt.
Yeah.
And again, she's passed away. This is weird story. Ruben said he started DJing. I go, yeah. He goes, what do you want to do? I said, I want to get a show. I want to be on the radio. And I always wanted to be on PCRL, but PCRL had finished by then.
Yeah.
But these guys had all moved on and started. Most of those guys had moved on and started doing Premiere. Anyway, he goes, I'm on Premiere. I can get you a show. And this was 2 weeks into me mixing. So he said, meet me, come to the Merry Maid in Highgate, and I'll introduce you to some people. So I came, and I walked in. It's a pub, and back then they didn't really care, it wasn't. We're talking 33 years ago, and behind the decks was a blind DJ. And a small white guy, the blind DJ, Chicken George, small white guy, Little Richie.
Just like that.
And and then Ruben and I reintroduced me, and there was Equal D there as well, and it was like, you got George there going, so you want to DJ, yeah? He goes, okay. He goes, I got a show for you. Didn't have to give him a tape or nothing. I said, don't have to give you. He goes, Colin vouches, Ruben vouches for you, then we're good. It was just like that. And I went on the airways, and I clanged up the airways. And I got a few phone-ins of criticism, but you never learn anything from winning.
Yeah.
You never learn. Winners don't learn anything. That's why a lot of them are arrogant. Losers, when you lose, you learn something. You learn how not to do that. You learn how to it's the thing with the experiments. When I got a scientist did experiments 100 times, and on the 99 times he got it wrong, and on the 100th time he got it right, and on the 100th times someone said to him, "Well, you wasted all those 99 times getting it wrong." And he goes, "I didn't get it wrong. I just learned 99 ways how not to do it."
That's true.
As much as people don't realise, you rely on the kindness of strangers more than you ever think. Someone's inaction or someone's action towards you or behind the scenes allows you to do something. You know what I mean? Someone could say, hold that door. Someone, and so forth. You got just little things. Just change your attitude. Change your day. Change how you're gonna go and do things and make things happen. You know what I mean? People decide that whether they're gonna put you on the station, whether they're gonna keep you off the station. Sometimes keeping you off something is the best thing for you. You know what I mean? Because you weren't meant to be there. You're meant to be somewhere else. You're meant to be bigger than that. You can complain about the station's local dance that you didn't get booked for, but you know what I mean. Next thing you know, you're playing Summerfest or whatever. Somewhere else. You know what I mean? And you're doing something else. You're working in Portugal. You're working here, there, and everything else. You're doing things that other people would dream, would love to have. You know what I mean? But that set that you missed out on would have been a dream at that time. And now you transcended that. You know what I mean? We rely on strangers so much, and that's why I love ravers so much, because they start off as strangers, but for maybe an hour or 2 hours or 5 hours, depending on the set and how long you'll spend with them, that unity through music makes you family. You You know what I mean? That shared moment, you know, like when you reminisce about mama's home cooking, or whoever had the best cooking in your household, or, you know, in your family. You know what I mean? And like so you may sit there with your cousins or your brother or sister, you know, whoever, whatever. You know what I mean? An uncle, and go, you remember them friends?
Trust me. So how long was you on Premiere for?
I was on for a good few years. I used to fall asleep because it was actually in Chicken George's flat, and sometimes Chicken would go out to, like, so I'd do like a couple of shows a week, and I could take up whatever show was like that people couldn't do, because I couldn't play in my mum's house. My mum's she's a 5 foot, maybe 5'4". Is she that big? Anyway, she's one of the early mixed race, born in the early 50s. But she's like, so everything she had the battle for, you know, that she always said we were black by default, because no one's going to call you white. But a lot of black people weren't willing to call her black, you know, that at that point, you know what I mean? But like, but she was starkly proud of history, you know. We weren't like, she's half Nigerian, same with like, you know what I mean? I'm half Nigerian. My dad's mixed race as well, again born in the 50s as well, and like, and he's like half Chinese as well. So they must have had it really hard growing up, you know, like being black or that, you know, that kind of thing, where, you know what I mean, like, where you could understand both worlds, but you weren't always fitting in either sometimes, you know, and like but she was an activist.
That's why you're like how you are. It makes sense.
She was an activist, so all the rights you think you're old. She knew you were old before you knew you owned it. You know what I mean? And like everything from I went on so many anti-apartheid marches, so many coal miner marches, so many equal pay, equal rights. You know what I mean? The Sex Discrimination Act, you know, the socialist movement, making placards in people's houses, you know, like meeting people for the first time, like going on the coaches meeting in town. If you couldn't afford to pay for the coach, that they would let you on for free, because it was just about like, so the richer ones would pay more, the poor would pay less, the ones who had nothing didn't pay anything. You know, that kind of thing, because it was all about being there together. You'd march with doctors, say there'd be an Asian doctor and a black lawyer and the Chinese surgeon or whatever, you know, like, you know, and they would all be chanting like, well, what do you want? Sanctions. When do we want it? Now. And that was against South Africa now, you know what I mean? And like, and that's why, to a point, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I feel strongly about a lot of things, because I know, you know what I mean, black rights didn't come from just black people standing up and saying something. Everybody has to believe that it's wrong for it to be changed. You know, that we just need to be the voice to turn around and say calmly, and sometimes a bit more aggressively, you can't do that. You know, we're human. We deserve to breathe the same air as you do and have the same rights as you do. But we also deserve to see you for who you are. You know what I mean? Because it can't be a two-way gate. We can't get angry at everything and then still not give them their respect, even if sometimes they don't necessarily deserve it. But it's not all of them, because all of us aren't the same. So all of them aren't the same.
I hear what you're saying.
So in my mum's house, yeah, it was law. She was always the hardest man in the room, but she wouldn't let us play music too loud, and no matter how low I played it, it was too loud.
So you was pretty much playing on Premiere that time then.
So yeah, Premiere was like, I go there, and there's a classic case when George came back from a event somewhere, and he came and he went, Jonah, wake up! You need to go home. You know, that kind of thing, and put me in a cab. You know, and so like, but I have a fun. I still have a good relationship with Chicken, and yeah, with George we have still a great thing, and he always talks about how proud I've made him, but I always talk about how I'm a product of the right guidance.
Yeah, I hear that, definitely. So how did you go into the garage then? Because I take it you was playing hip hop and all squad kind of music.
I was playing like electro house and bits of early kind of ravey jungle kind of sound. And then so what happened is I wanted to become this kind of hip hop scratch master DJ. And what happened is the rave scene turned up, and because it was quintessentially, I love that word, quintessentially British. And even though I'm a product of mixture of how many immigrants, I'm British born, and it was us, and it had influences of everything. It had little bits of African drums. It had that kind of sound system bass. It had that, had that raw melody. Same reason why Beyonce's done a country and western tune. Sometimes, like there's something in a tune that we don't do, that they do, that we like. Because music has that thing we like, and that's what we do. We take it like a jigsaw puzzle, and we where it's supposed to be Nelson Mandela's face. But by the time we've put it together with the way we look at music, it's like a Picasso picture.
Completely different.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Like the nose is over here, the eyes over there. So I got carried away with the rave scene, and then and I was playing jungle and Cool FM Birmingham. I was playing jungle and garage, because I was fortunate enough that I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, I didn't do drugs. I had literally nothing to spend my money on other than records when I was earning from art. So I just bought records, just kept buying records, and I was able to play both. Call FM knocked on my door. Justin from Call FM came up with, I think it might have been Escape. And they said, "Oh yeah, you're lucky. We've got a slot on Call FM, and we want you to join." And I was like, I said, yeah. I'm like, yeah, cool. And it wasn't that I wasn't grateful that they were asking me to play. I just garage. There was something about garage melody and so forth that had something that I really liked a bit more. And what was the turning point in that conversation was they offered me a Sunday 5 till 7, and that time there was no early buses, so it would have meant I rode my bike to Neatchels or somewhere along that lines from Borsal Heath, and that with records on, and I thought I can't do that. I said, look, thanks for the offer, but I won't be able to make it. And they say Sidney Poitier said that it's not what you accept, it's what you turn down that makes is the measure of you. Yeah. And I think and I turned that down and concentrated and decided, because I turned down Cool, that was the station to be on. So if I'm not going to do Cool, why am I buying Jungle? That kind of thing, because I've got to showcase somehow. And I know the power of radio because I've done it. I was that little kid that everybody just thought was a grown man, playing on radio, so, yeah. And then I started playing garage, and I was right at the beginning. It was right at the beginning of the scene in that respect as well. From the get-go. Yeah, so so it's like I had these bits, and I've got some stuff that you wouldn't even recognize it as garage. As in how it's modulated and transcended, and it's moved forward a long way, and it's had a lot of influences. But then it was so hard to get hard to get vocalists. A lot of music back then was really kind of samples. So now you got you got vocalists left, right, and centre. And you got people from all over the world working together, not even having to be in the same country. But back then it was used to be like, oh, my friend's sister sings, come over, like that, and then you hear and she, and you go, oh, I can make that work. Yeah, what you saying? But and that's what it was. So I decided I wanted to get another show, and we went on to Chris FM.
So I didn't know you went on Chris.
So,
Chris was a big station as well.
Yeah, but we got there before. I think before it got big. I think. So we were on there with G-Child. G-Child was on at the same time.
Yeah.
And we had a Friday night, and I say we, Generation X. My two brothers, Savage and Curious, and one of the other members of Generation X, Tomic, and like we were an equal opportunist group. Like Tomic was Polish, and then we had like Ricky E, who's Kenyan and so forth, and Ghetto's from Ghetto's Jamaican heritage and so forth. So we had. And we had like a mixture of everything because we had English in us. So we used to say it was like being in Generation X was like the garage equivalent of United Colours of Benetton.
Because there's
so different cultures. So we could talk about everything, that kind of thing. Like we were just kids, just had nothing to lose. And we're still young at that point, and we were moving forward, and we were doing a Friday night. And at that time, there was only 2 garage shows on the air in the Midlands. I would say in the north, if I'm honest. There was loads in London, but we were on an Andy Ward.
Yes. So this was like the Choice FM era.
Yeah. So
bearing in mind there was Choice London, and a lot of people forget that there was Choice Birmingham as well.
Exactly, and that was the license that PCRL had come off the air to try and chase. So they came off because because that was supposed to be a black music license, and Choice stole it on the grounds that that we're going to play black music, and they just added a couple of more urban sets to their repertoire and carried on with the same usual.
Because it was Buzz FM.
Yeah, there was Buzz as well, but but this was a new license.
Yes,
I remember the conversation on it, and then and that's the one that Galaxy took in the end, and they bought it off Choice when Choice realised that they couldn't make the money. Like it was bought, or the company got bought out, or whatever the maths is on that one. So we were on Chris, and we were on actually a couple of hours before Andy, and we were smashing it. And again, another guy, Beanhead, probably not a massive DJ, but we used to rate him. He was like everyone's uncle. Yeah, he played before us on the station, and he was like our guru about pirates. He would tell us about how most of the time the transmitter is stealing energy from the lift shaft.
He's deep into
it. The man, and he said that if usually what they do, the DTI, Department of Trade and Industry, for those people out there that don't know what DTI was, the DTI would turn off the power to a block to figure out if they've got the right block before the raid. The guy gave us so much insight, and it did save us once. And big respect to Von, by the way, and
yes, and
his wife. I don't know if he's still with her, but hopefully he's hoping, in the success stories. But yeah, for giving us the shot, and so we're doing that, and Beanhead would stay and listen to it, even though he'd done maybe 2 or 3 hours before, he'd stay for the whole 2 hours and sit with us and listen to the show, and he'd be literally like having a guardian angel, an uncle, and I hope he's still around, and I'd like to find him somehow. So if anybody knows Beanhead, reach out to Warren and get me the lowdown. And this is how dedicated he was to us, or to everything. His wife died. I remember the day clearly, and he still came in and did the show. And not only did he come and do the show, he sat with us with the afterwards, even though you can see that he was really in pain. And I said, why didn't you go home and we'll go thinking. He goes, I said, and be with family. And he goes, I am with family. You don't understand how much you kids mean to me. And I said, and being with you guys is comforting. And it was really touching, and that kind of humanity, and knowing that, and that's where I got. It was a reminder that, just being with somebody can just be the difference, that kind of thing. But he didn't realize how much we cared about him.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing, because we would, you know what I mean, we would look forward to seeing him. You know, that kind of thing, like and on the bus up or whatever, you know what I mean. And then we get a phone call while at the height to Chris that from Jedi, and that saying that they're starting a station. Would you be interested in being on them and this and that? And we had the meetings and we had the conversation, and we put our input in and started. They started the station, which turned into Silk City, which was the first, if not only, station that dedicated to garage outside London.
Yeah, I think it was.
I mean, and it definitely, if it were, and others followed in different avenues, and like, no disrespect to Passion, Smooth, any of those stations, you know what I mean? Like they had a lot of talent. Birmingham's got a lot of talent, and I mean, and anybody that was involved in any of that, taking time out to give their time, and I salute every single one of you. Like, I mean, but there were stations all over after that. We had there was a station in Derby, in Nottingham, and I mean Leicester. We did all the guest spots on all of them, but that's what kind of cemented us, Generation X, as a crew. Like in a lot of these Midlands places and up north, because we weren't scared to go jump on your station. We actually wanted, you tell me your station was on, I go, yo, who's the guy? Let's go talk to him. You know what I mean? And we did really well in that respect. But so we were actually doing Silk and Chris at the same time, and then I was doing Chris. No, so we did Chris on a Friday and Silk on a Sunday, but it wasn't really. But on a Sunday I was only doing it with Scandal, and so it wasn't all Generation. Like, so Tomic was on in another day on a Saturday, and then so Von phones me up in the middle of my show, and I remember this, you know what I mean, and I wish he hadn't, because he put me in a corner, you know, and he's phoned me up and he's ranting down the phone saying, oh, I'm hearing you on another station, blah blah blah, this, blah blah blah, that, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I said, Von, it's not a conflict of interest. I said, like what? Yours is a mixed station based in Warsaw. Obviously, it does, and he had a big transmitter, so it kind of went.
It did.
Yeah, we were getting phone calls from Derby and places further afield, Nottingham, and Stafford and Stoke, and transmitted hit hard. And I was explaining to him that, you know, with respect, I didn't think it was a conflict of interest, because obviously, like the whole Generation X, that we did like a different Generation X show on that, and I'm doing a different show with this, even though, you know, I mean, they're both garage, but I had so much music, I was able to even I could play totally different sets on the same week, you know, 3 days in a row, no problem, without even touching. And I could have done that with him, and he was, oh no, you can't do that, you've got to make a choice.
Put you in a corner.
Oh, he just. He shouldn't have, because the activist in me, yeah, I make a choice. You know what I mean? I don't respond well to tyranny. You know what I mean? I'm the kid that used to beat up the bullies. You know, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? I could get myself like punched up hard, but I'd make it so you wouldn't want to fight me again, even if you did have the better of me, because I just don't give up.
Yeah.
And he put me in a corner, and I just said, okay, cool. I said, well, it's Silk then, isn't it? He said, there's no brain now on the station that dedicated to garage. I'm basically home. And then I took on a Friday show. So at one point, we had Fridays with so it was me, Savage and Curious, and Ghetto G. And then Ricky E would do a Saturday show with Ghetto. Tomic would do a show with, so Ricky's another DJ. Tomic would do a show with either Savage, Curious, or one of them. So then, and then I would that on a Saturday as well, with Jerry, like his friend. And then I would do a Sunday show 10 till 12 with Scandal, who I'd just met through that station. Like, you would have thought we'd been working together forever. We just clicked. So he was the only guy. He was the only guy that didn't originally start in Generation X that became part of Generation X, and he's the only guy from London in Generation X. So so we had minimum of 8 hours on Silk, and Silk started broadcasting on a Friday at 6 till maybe 12, because we did the last show on a Friday at 10 till 12, and then they would start again in the morning maybe at 10, sometimes 12.
Oh, so at that time they were doing weekends.
Yeah, so just weekends only. So if you think about it, if you worked out the math, we did about roughly half the shows, well, not half the shows, but let's just shy of half the shows at air show. So it was what I didn't look at it like that is that Generation X had so many shows on a garage station. So so it was no wonder, like, every so often you hear Generation X. So we did, like, that's what we did, and we did well. You know what I mean? And we ended up on a lot of flyers, and a lot of people, rightly or wrongly, thought we didn't deserve to be there. A lot of other people thought we were exactly where we needed to be. You know what I mean? And no one's wrong, because music and it's personal, and if something person doesn't hit you, then you don't force it down your throat. You don't eat food you don't like. You don't drink drinks you don't like. Same with music. You don't force yourself to like some DJ or some act or whatever. You know what I mean? You may like one thing of them later on, but you know what I mean.
Just your opinion.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I would never seen Dead dancing to Beyonce's country and western tune, but I'd seen a lot of people doing it when.
Some people like it. Yeah,
of course. A lot of country and western covers in reggae.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was explaining. Someone was saying, why are there so many black people? They've been in the country and western since day one.
Day one.
You know what I mean? Like, but you know what I mean? But some people just. I mean, like Mikey Spice would sing something, or this guy would sing something, or that's, you know what I mean? Like Dolly Parton's been sung more times than anybody else.
Yeah, it's true. That's right. So you carried on with Silk. How long was you on there for, on Silk City?
About, I don't know, 4 years maybe, something like that. And
so when all this happened, you went on the raves and everything, you started doing the gigs.
Yes, I was doing all that before.
You was doing all that before, but let's go back to when we were talking about the record shops. How did you get the record shop? Because you worked at Depot.
So here's what happened is, so Depot was owned by Miss Moneypenny's. The clothes shop was owned by Miss Moneypenny's, you know, the big house brand, you know, international house brand. Big up the Ryan brothers, Jim, Michael Dermott, and big up Lee Garrick. I mean, all four of them did very well to put Birmingham on the map in Ibiza and travelled around, did the US and everything else. Anyway, they had this clothes shop, and it wasn't working anymore. So Jim decided he wanted to sell all his promos. So he had so many promos. He said, "I've got so much. I could open a record shop." And decided, well, I must have enough to do that, and decided that's what they were going to do. Nick Gillette, Paul Lee, aka DJ Dalton, Cosmic, and myself we had a connection through different people, but I didn't know Cosmic that well, Jason Evans, and I didn't know him at all really. I knew Paul, I know Dalton, and I knew Nick because they were working at Vinyl Matters, which was just round the corner, which is another house record shop, but it had different bits in there. So the house guys would throw their promos. They'd somehow to get a promo from Sony that would be an R&B tune with a garage mix on it or something like that. So I'd always check check every record shop out because I wasn't lazy. You know what I mean? I'm sifting. I had plenty of time and I was sift through, and I was always in town anyway. I'm 9 times out of 10. So I got to know them, and they came in to do that shop. Dalton wasn't there originally. And on the first day they opened, I went into On You, which is the clothes shop around the corner.
I forgot about that shop. On You.
And Baz and Gaffer were there, and I was chatting to them, and they go, Depot's sent to a record shop, you should go in and ask for a job. I didn't really want a job. I mean, I was playing that already. I was doing the radio. Didn't really need the work. I went in anyway to see what they had. I'm in there, and Cosmic's done the buying, and he's not really. He knows Garage because he sells a lot of packs and thingy. But there's knowing Garage, and then there's knowing what will work. You know, that kind of thing. You listen to Garage, and then that's. I said to him, it's going to find it hard. I said to Nick, you're going to find it hard to get rid of any of that. And Nick goes, really? He said, yeah. That's not even on anybody's radar. So, and Nick said, well, what do you recommend we buy in? So when I said, well, I was getting promos left, right, and centre. I said, well, this is coming out, that's coming out. And then, so the idea, so Nick said to me, well, if you help me figure out what we can get in, I mean, I'll give you whatever you want for free. You know, like, and so okay, you know what I mean? So I'd come in the shop, and the distributors, like we'd phone the distributors, or they'd phone, and I'd listen down the phone and say, well, yeah, I'll have that and have this and have this. In the end, I just started circumventing the shop, just gave him my mobile number and told them to phone me, and then these parcels would just turn up at the shop. So I was spending money that they didn't really have, but it paid off because I was using the radio station to tell everybody where to go.
Yeah.
And then so I made myself a job. So technically, what happened is I ended up making it so that I was already getting so much music that they couldn't really give me much. So in the end, I got paid just to be the buyer in a way, but I was in there as well and everything else. So I made my own job out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's how it can work.
So that's what happened. And then I used my contacts like we had I Love You before anybody else. We had like any of the Wiley stuff and all this, and not before that. You know what I mean? Like that's 2002, but well before that
was
we had,
before the change.
Yeah, but we had I used just like contacts and this and that. We had people come through, like Brass Tooth and everybody else. We had guys just and we became a hub, and people would come in and they'd ask for advice, and then some people would think I was hiding music. I would say, like, where am I going to hide the music? There's no space to hide me.
That probably come about because that used to happen in the reggae shops. They used to put like the 7 inches will be hidden away for other DJs, so they probably said the same thing. Yeah,
they tried that, but there was nowhere to hide anything. Anyway, 7 inches is about this big, but you know, like a 12 inches this big, you know. Like,
yeah.
And like the shop is probably the size of this studio.
Yeah,
like,
the shop, yeah.
So it's not really even smaller than this place, but we made it work.
You made it work.
Yeah.
You definitely did. I remember everybody used to say, "Yeah, Cosmic, cut dread, the one with the dreads,
yeah.
the drum with the."
You know, for a long time, because radio obviously was an audio medium, not a visual. A lot of people thought Nighttrate was a black guy with dreads.
Because of the shop,
no, because of
the radio.
They just thought I was just some black guy with dreads. So one guy came in. And all credit to Cosmic, is a good DJ, a great DJ to be fair. They came in and come up to Cosmic and offered him a booking and that. And he goes, oh, I know you're particular about spelling your name. How do you spell Nighttrate? He goes, oh, I'm not Nighttrate. He's Nighttrate. Oh, they are boy out there. That makes way better. You know, this guy.
That's what I was saying. Did they get you mixed up? It went for a good few years then. Depot.
Yeah, Depot went for about maybe 4 years, maybe a bit more, 5 years or something like that.
That was a really good shop.
I had a great time there, you know what I mean? I made a lot of friends, and I mean, there's people I would never met. Unfortunately, like, there was some skullduggery at Silk as well. Some guys, like, every time you get a phone call for bookings, some guys would try and take that for themselves. So, like, the shop was good because people come in the shop and go, oh, Nighttrate, thank God you got the shop, because we've been phoning Silk trying to get you to book you for this and book you for that, and they're saying that you're not available or something like that. You know, but we can book this guy instead, and so my bookings did go up because they were able to speak to me face to face.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I mean, like, no disrespect to thing. Everybody was hungry, and you know what I mean. And I understand why. You know what I mean. It comes down to this: if you got your kids to feed, and it comes down to your kids and my kids, you've got to choose your kids every day. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, where I would break off the meal in half, and we'd all go hungry instead of one of us starving.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But what about your involvement in Harmony? one of the big raves, if not arguably the biggest outside of London for garage.
Okay,
would you say?
Yeah, Jedi didn't want to book me. Truthfully, you want to like R.I.P. to Jedi.
Rest in peace to Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, he sadly passed away. He didn't want to book me. He had to book me. There was a difference. I mean, I became such a force of nature, and I can say this now. Back then, I didn't realize it, but I say it now, looking back. I became such a force of nature that you couldn't avoid me. You know what I mean? Like, there was like 3 fractions in Birmingham at the time. You had like Andy Ward and all his friends, like, you know, the older guard, Everton.
Rest in peace, Everton.
So, you know what I mean? And like they were all friends like that. But like Jedi had managed to capture some of them guys because he knew that he needed some of them on board, but he wasn't really. No, Andy Wood was doing his nights and Jedi was doing his nights, so there was that little rivalry. And then we were over here. We weren't doing any real nights, but we represented Garage as a third faction. But he didn't want to book us. He wanted to because he had Caprice and things like that.
There was loads of
There was
DJs,
a lot of guys,
there was
and
a lot of people, especially at that time.
And there was guys local to him, you know, like that kind of thing. But he knew my brothers and everything else, and everybody nice. So, and then and it got down to like, I literally just made it so that you couldn't not book me because I had the freshest music, had the hardest shows. I would do every show that no one wanted to do as well. I'd cover your show. Oh, we need someone to cover me. I mean, we're gonna broadcast on Bank Holiday Monday. Me. We're broadcasting on Christmas. Me. You know that. Because I'm not too proud. You know that kind of thing. I'm not doing this for hype or fame. I'm doing this because I love it. Still do. You know, like that. And like, you know, I mean, I didn't come this way. I only come this far to only come this far. You know what I mean? But I didn't know that these bookings would come because I did what I did. I did what I did and bookings came.
You just done the work regardless.
Yeah. So I was getting bookings before Silk. That's why they had to put me on Silk. You know, they took me away from a station because they know they needed the guys to make up the station. But there was other guys that could have filled the station, but they went to somebody, you know what I mean? But they still weren't giving the bookings on Harmony. And what happened with Harmony is that EZ was playing a set and Soul Solid was supposed to play afterwards. This was the big one. And I was in the room too.
Was this Q Club?
No, I've done Q. They do Q Club as well, but this was in Mezzanine.
Yes, Wolverhampton.
And my son had just been born. So this is nearly 25 years ago. And it was the same day my son had been born. And there's ones before this, but this is the big one. Let me actually give you a big picture of this. I've asked a few promoters in the shop if I can get some bookings on their raves. I'm not too proud to beg.
Yeah.
You know, like I go, you know what I mean? You have to open your mouth. If you don't ask, you don't get. And they said, no, we'll never book you. You're not right for our rave. Because they listen to other people. They haven't actually heard me play. They're just hearing, you know, like, you know, obviously, so other DJs telling them that they, you know what I mean, they don't want us on the rave. So it's cool, okay. And then I would have played for a fraction of what they would have thought I would have asked for, you know, because I'm asking them. Anyway, my son gets born. I've gone to the women's hospital, watching him come into this world, come out of the hospital as Ricky E is coming in with his partner, and Ricky again, the Generation X DJ. His daughter is born about 8 hours after my son was born.
Okay.
So I'm leaving. So he's not coming to Harmony. And my friends picked me up from the hospital, took me home. I've had a wash. He's grabbed his brother, I grabbed my brothers, and we've all piled in the car. Sebash and Nilesh, big respect to them two guys. You know what I mean? Without them, we wouldn't have got to a lot of raves. Like, we could basically, they lived on the next road to us, and we could see their house. We could see their back window from our back window.
Oh, yeah. That kind of setup.
They were really good friends, but like there was a bit further up the road, but you could see if you looked, you know where to look. You knew they were there.
Yeah.
But they were there with us. You know what I mean? They were soldiers. You know what I mean? And we used to catch the bus together when we were kids to school. They went to a different school, but their school was just a little bit further down on the stops. So we all used to call for each other and go up the road, and it was just like that. So everything with us has always been about loyalty and friendship, you know, that regardless of who you are, colour, creed, culture, you know, I mean, you could worship a dolphin for all I care, you know what I mean, as long as you're cool, I'm good, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And like, so they came with us, and I walked in the rave, and EZ was playing, and was it EZ first?
It's going back now with like EZ.
Oh, because he's on some big money. He's on some big money. He's on festival money. But was it? Yes, EZ was playing, and So Solid was supposed to play after him. So Solid hadn't turned up. EZ needed to leave to go, so they grabbed me and said, "Yo, we need you in the main room." So I went into the main room and put on the anthem, which is obviously the one of the notorious tunes that I was known for at the time. So it starts off with the Rocky sample.
Yes.
And it spells out my name. It says Nighttrate, Savage and the Curious, taking it strictly serious, and drops it to a hard bass line. No, we built the original one in 1997 to 98. Me and Carl Grimm built it in his mum's house in Borsleaf. No tune sounded like it at the time. Subsequently, you got like people afterwards that they influenced a lot of things, like influenced like Neat's Garage, that goes G, that's the way that we roll, A, what the world about. You know what I mean? As much as they want to say they didn't or didn't, they used to play at the raves. They saw the R-Tunes do what R-Tune did, and he did what he did. So I played that first, and the crowd went mad. Mike's Man turned up, and obviously Mike's Man's from my end, and like represents Graveyard. Hold tight Mike's Man in the Graveyard shift. You know what I mean? And he came on, and he around the goals. He set the story for how we were going to move forward. You know what I mean? The crowd just gone mad, but it was mainly Birmingham in there. There was Wolverhampton and everybody else. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? There was plenty of people from all over, but Birmingham would travel.
Yeah.
I mean, like we took them to Bristol, we took them everywhere. We had a great time. Bristol Carnival, we shut down Bristol Carnival, but
Camden Palace, Harmony, Camden Palace.
Camden Palace, yeah. You know what I mean?
Half of it was full of Birmingham people. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You see, those days they used to drag me, even though I'm a dancer or DJ. Yeah. We all went everywhere. Yeah, because everything was playing, like you said.
Yes, I mean, like.
So one week we'll be in a garage dance. Next week we'll be listening to sound clashes.
But that's the thing, you know, like I remember we played at Adastra a lot, and like so we played garage there, and then like 1 week we go there, and like there would be like some bashment dance or whatever, you know, like, something like. And Adastra's in Wolverhampton, for those of you who don't know.
Yes.
But so what happened is that tune just went nuts. So I remember it was 2,500 people in a mezzanine. And I remember thinking that I'm here with my brothers playing a tune that has vocals by my brothers, produced by me and my friend, in Birmingham, and the whole of Birmingham going mad and barring for a rewind. And the day my son was born, I thought it doesn't get better than that. And then they put the pack out, and the pack sold well. And believe it or not, the reason why I told you that thing about those two promoters is because on Monday morning, that happened on Friday. That happened on a Friday. That rave was on a Friday. And on Saturday morning, or Saturday midday, when I was in the depot, I had phone calls from both of them, and they both give me one give me 3 bookings in advance, and one give me 2 bookings in advance, and I charged them 5 times as much as I was going to charge them the day before per booking.
Don't blame you.
Because it's simple as like, I respected the fact they didn't want to book me, and I liked the honesty. But when they phoned me the next day, because I realised that they had told me they weren't going to book me on the grounds that they hadn't even listened to me. They were just going off somebody else's something. So I was like, okay. And that was that. The shop helped me communicate with people, but a lot of people think the shop gave me the leg up, or the radio gave me the leg up. If it wasn't for certain things that I did with this, helping with the station, giving people, I used to get, they called them pie boxes, and they contain between 30 and 40 vinyls. And I used to get them from like any remix, like, let me clarify this worked. I'm good friends with Semtex. Not the Birmingham Semtexes. There's a drum and bass one and a garage one. Big respect to both of them. I know them both, and they're really nice guys. But Semtex, as in the one-armed Scratch Master Pravario
from Manchester,
who was Dizzy Rascal's tour DJ for the best part of How Long One Extra. But before that, he was Sony Street Team's
yes,
head. And we were really tight because of G-Child. If it wasn't let me get back to G-Child as well. If it wasn't for G-Child, no one in the Midlands would know what the tune Nisha was, because G-Child was the first guy to get promoted that tune, and he listened to it, and he had a garage mix by an unknown average producer called Sticky. Hold tight to Richard Forbes. Richard is a great guy. His brother even stayed at my house once, but that's another story. But with Kyla and Paleface as well, same night. I could tell you some stories. Anyway, so Sticky had just decided, he was the old kids. He was playing R&B with a guy called Simon Says, and decided he might make this thing called Garage. Made that Nisha tune, didn't he? And that Nisha tune just like was just such an amazing. That first mix is so edgy, you know. Tell me that long elongated bass.
Yeah.
Anyway, G-Child phoned me up. Listen to this, bruv. You know, have you seen like Back to the Future? And he goes, Marv, you know that new sound you're looking for? This is it. Kind of. That's what G-Child was like on the phone. You know that? Have you heard this tune? And he said, I tell you what, I'm going to get onto the phone to them, and I'm going to get them to send it you. So they sent me it. The next day I got it. They rushed it, and then I played it that Friday on radio. Saturday morning, I had so many Silk DJs phoning me up at the shop going, what's that tune?
So you was one of the first to get that song?
I was one of the first. Yeah, it was a test press.
White label. Yeah. There are days where you had to press off the songs.
The bass has got a sticker. It's just got a little sticker on it that like they printed on a printer and put on the white label just to let you know that what it was. And believe it or not, I liked it. I didn't think it was going to be that big.
I don't think people did.
No, they didn't. But for some reason, it resonated with Birmingham, and it just blew. And other places as well. But it just blew. It was just one of those tunes, like Give It Up.
Yeah.
The Selena May, Hold Tight, Selena May. Her manager, he sadly passed away. He came into the shop and gave me a CD with it on. And I was the first guy to ever play that tune. The first mix and the second mix. So the first mix is like kind of bit hoppy, edgy, not edgy, but kind of like can probably consider a bit poppy, but in today's sector, but not then. That kind of thing. It was like an upbeat, nice song. You know what I mean? And then when they did the remix, they gave me that as well. And I was the first guy to play that tune. And his name's Sammy, by the way. So Sammy was a really nice guy, and he did really well to help Selena out. And he prematurely passed away, and then it kind of stunted her career a little because he treated her like a daughter and had the best for her. And she's from Birmingham. And like Slaughter John, you know Slaughter John?
Yeah.
He's from Birmingham, right?
Yeah.
And he's the voice of Basement Jaxx.
Yes.
Jump and Shout.
Jump and Shout.
Yeah, and that my friend is in the video. Like the guy who lived on the next row to me. He's my brother, basically, who used to be my brother's brother. The only way I could put it, is he was more my brother's brother than I was my brother's brother.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know, like you would have thought them two would came out the same womb, the way they carried on, and like Hold Tight Mini, and but yeah, so like the same thing. Slaughter, Slaughter brought me. I don't think it was Slaughter that brought me to a studio, but someone brought me to a studio in Borsenheath, and I'm in there, and so we're in this studio. And the studio's in the back of this house, and it's like basically a converted garage, or not garage, sorry, converted shed, but like a really expensive shed with like really nice wood, and like soundproof and it's got like so much equipment in there. Anyway, and in there Slaughter's he's spitting hard. And then the tune's so he spits it, it's my party, yeah. To all the pretty girls, hands up in the air, I want to rock you.
Yeah.
So I'm there when they're recording that tune. Didn't realise what I was listening to at the time. Didn't realise, I knew it was going to be big, but I didn't realise what it was. Anyway, Booker T, it was his remix, and he's a Grammy nominated artist now in his own right. So, and Slaughter's done that tune, and I'm telling people for about a year or something, yo, there's this tune that I heard, it was mad, and it was made in most of it was made in Borsenheath, or not made in Borsenheath, but it was made in London. It was a lot of it was vocal in Borsenheath, and this and that, and everything. People go nah. Anyway, so I get sent it on promo, don't I? Oh, and this tune, I say, this is the tune. Nah, you didn't know about this tune.
They didn't believe you then, and they didn't believe you.
So you know what I mean. But like one day, if you ever come to my apartment and that, and you go through, you'll be going like this. You'll be flicking through labels and going, what's that? And I know it from the Fun Mark or something, because most of it's all white.
Yes.
I don't have hardly any labels on most of it. There are label stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, but half of it you can't. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't even know what some of it is. Sometimes I have to pull it out to kind of check.
Yeah, to look at the film. Yeah,
so.
Physically. Yeah. So you just carried on, and the DJing and the garage scene.
I was immersed.
Yeah.
I was immersed in the scene. You know, that kind of thing. And then, but I was also. Very private with it as well. I kind of like wasn't trying to be everybody's friend, not because I had anything issue with it, but you know what I mean. I just kind of trying to focus on doing the next move. But we were playing that, like I was playing that at some point between maybe 11 to 15 times a week.
Jeez.
You know what I mean?
Because the garage scene was really big.
Listen, I played Garage Nations on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sun City Tours, La Cosa Nostra, Harmony, Twice as Nice. Wales had a rave called Funky Marvellous, which I played at.
Funky Marvellous, I forgot about that.
There was a load of these things, you know what I mean, like Urban Music Showcase. There was a lot of stuff that just had the raves, and I just happened to be lucky enough. Sidewinder, I happened to be lucky enough to play in nearly all these guys' raves, you know, like and the Garage Fever.
The list is endless.
There it is. I mean, and I could talk about the small, like not smaller ones, but I say the smaller ones are probably the grassroots ones, should I say, are probably the more important ones, because the big ones like became hit fests, but the smaller ones were edgy. You know what I mean? That's where the real music got broke. You know, that kind of thing, where you had like 400 people that were really dedicated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They knew every word to every tune, so you had to kind of come with something fresh, because to be fair, you know what I mean, end of the day, they weren't going to take mama's 2-week-old soup. They wanted something. They want something to cut their teeth on. You know what I mean? Like they don't want the drinks. They want some more meat in there.
The real thing, yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
But we have to say respect to like Jedi as well, Harmony, because
Oh no,
I
yeah.
mean, for what he done with Silk City, he was very forward thinking. And Harmony, I know there was other people that were involved in it, like
Listen,
the DJs
there
and
was,
everything.
There was a lot of things behind, but Jedi was a roadman who, through with the help of his brother, lyrical.
Yes, big lyrical every time.
So I mean, and like they were big. They like sound. They like reggae. They like that kind of. They love the culture. You know, like,
and he had a lot of brothers as well.
Yeah, he got quite a few brothers. You know what I mean, like a big family in from Chelmswood, and then but he had a kid with a partner. He was running road, and his brother said, "Why don't you put on a rave?" You know, and he put on a rave, and they booked. The story goes like this: this is the Q Club. They booked the chapel, which was the smaller 2 rooms, and the word on the street was everybody's going to Harmony. So I think Tim was running Q Club back then from Smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so he was involved, and he told him that I think he was the one who told him that you need to move into they need to move it into the bigger room because you're just doing too well, you know. And it goes. I may have got the name. I may have got it wrong, but I think it was Tim. Anyway, and they moved it into the main room, and 2,000 some people turned up, and 1,000 people outside. You know what I mean? And it was just an immense rave. I remember being in there, walking around, thinking, "Wow."
Yeah.
You know, Birmingham has arrived again. He believed what I believed, that we didn't need to answer to anybody else. You know, that kind of thing. But he got carried away with the money and tried to bring a lot more people. He could There's an argument for both.
It was back in the day, but
but there was an argument for both, and we had strong arguments about it, and saying that I thought you were bringing too many in from outside, not because I didn't rate any of them guys. It was just that we had so many people, so much talent in Birmingham that you didn't need it, you know, like that three guys.
Well, he had his brothers. He could have been a family business.
Well, him and his
but it was back in it, like he said. It was one of those things.
The late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? End of the day, it was his business, and you run your business how you want to run your business. And you know what? Looking back, he didn't do too badly. I mean, there are some things you could say, "Oh, I would have changed that. I would change that." But hindsight's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And the man put his money where his mouth was, because how many years are going to put 10 grand down?
And
you know what I mean?
back then,
even 5 grand. 5 grand then is the equivalent to putting 10 grand down now, minimum, and probably even more. You know what I mean? With inflation and everything else,
and not knowing how they turn out.
Think of it. How many flyers you see now that the lineup isn't revealed for like 3 weeks? So the rave's been promoted for 3 weeks, and then they wait till you've spent some money before they decide who they're going to book. You know, that kind of thing. I do that free dance, yeah, and I don't book it. I don't put anybody on there. You know, so with the experience, I don't put anybody names on there, not because of anything. Because I want people to come for the music.
Mm.
So it's not like, you know, the only reason why I got my name on there is because then you kind of know, you know, you're not just getting the average garage, you know that. But other than that, there's a point where I'm still considering whether I should just take my name off it and just call it just experience. You know, that is what it is. But I mean, you know what I mean, like to put that money down there, and you know, actually have to put a lineup out there, and like, you know what I mean, and take that risk in advance, 2 months, 3 months in advance, where these people they're not even taking a risk. Like they don't put a lineup on there. They take your money, and next thing you know, it's not doing so well. So the event's cancelled, get a refund. So you've just wasted that time waiting for their dance, and they weren't even serious when it's come down to it. Serious is like putting mortgage down and possibly losing it.
He took it serious.
Yeah, you know what I mean, and he was, and and not many people were doing that. And remember, he died at 45, and if 25 years ago he was doing that at 20.
Yeah. You know, you got to big him up for it.
Yeah, you can't knock that.
Can't knock it at all.
No, I mean, I don't wish it. I wish he was here again so we could do it again.
Yeah, good times.
Yes.
So, what's your plans now? Then you're still doing your DJing, of course.
Yes.
You're doing your production work.
I play it every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to be fair, I've never had it so good.
You didn't stop.
Since in the last whatever, since the resurge of garage. Yeah, garage. Yes, I've been saying this word for years and I still get it wrong. Yeah, so garage. You know, like since the resurgence of garage, as in like the new generations getting into it, I haven't been this busy for a very long time. As in, I mean, I was playing out, never stopped, but you know,
never stopped.
Yeah, and in production, we got some work. Got some work here. I got some things in the pipeline. I've always got things in the pipeline, but I'm very a lot of the time I use them for myself. But I will put stuff out eventually. You know what I mean? Like, and then and I push a lot of new school stuff.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of people don't realise that. Say like in 2010, imagine that 2010. That's 14 years ago. In 2010, I coined a phrase called New School Garage because I was sick of everybody going, "Oh, you play old school garage," like the name of the music is old school garage, no, it's UK garage.
Yeah.
But I just thought, let me just get a pin, because that, like, to put a pin in it so we knew where to start. So I said anything from 2010 is new school garage now, so NSG. I mean, some other guys are trying to call it new cool garage, but that don't roll off the tongue because they could put an N before UKG, so they called it new KG. I was like, I just didn't think it has the same ring, but you know, what I mean, that's gonna be another fight with some Londoners about naming, but that's gonna be but we'll get them in the end. But New School Garage is basically just digital versions of garage that sometimes aren't as warm, but sometimes are just so amazing that they could have been built back then, or they are just the best evolution of where we were trying to go. Because to be fair, it's like see, like Bashment now, a lot of it sounds very hip hoppy produced. You know what I mean? But is it less Bashment because the artist the Bashment? You know what I mean? Like, there's an argument for it, but at the end of the day, it's called evolution. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to move with the time. Like the reason why, say, maybe African music is doing so well now is because it's moved with the time. You know what I mean? Like you're not seeing a guy traditionally dressed sitting there with two bongo drums. You know what I mean? These guys are moving differently. You know what I mean? So every music has to transcend, has to move. You have your traditional, yes. There's going to be your purists, obviously, always. You know what I mean? There's going to be your train spotters who know everything about the inside and outside of the music. You're going to have your pioneers. You're going to have the people that take risks. You have people that can't get the music that they want, so they try it with something else and accidentally stumble on something that's amazing. You know what I mean? Nothing's wrong in music. If you like it, you can go with it.
Couldn't have said it better, man. Every time. Nighttrate, man. If one of people want to get in touch with you, how can they link up with you?
I'm black. Dreads. I'm out there. I'm out there with your girl right now. No, sorry. Dave Chappelle. You tell the story beforehand and then you end with the punchline. But you can catch. You can if you want to see me play live. You just type in NIGHTTRATE to your search engines, and there'll be a flyer pop up for something, UK Garage Bingos or Garage Experience or anything like that. But the same Nighttrate, as I said, NIGHTTRATE is all my social media handles. So I'm fortunate enough to have a weirdly spelt name that no one can remember. I mean it was easy to get the Hotmail and the Facebook and the Instagram and the TikTok, but we do a live stream every Sunday after 8 sometime, so between 8 and 10. So it finishes at 10. So regardless, I won't play after 10. But yeah, you can find me on any social medias and so forth. And we've also got I'm going to let this out. This is an exclusive for Warren Tone. MC Jedi's Memorial Dance will be happening on Saturday the 13th of April. So if you get yourselves, we haven't put the tickets up, but I believe we're going to be putting them up in school maybe today or tomorrow, something like that. So put that into your diaries, 13th of April. That's the Memorial Dance MC Jedi, and it's gonna be a who's who of artists and DJs, MCs. So all the money is going to his family, because even though Jedi balled like he was rich, we don't always keep the same things when we move on. And because he was 45 and no one prepares for their own death, the money will go towards his funeral. And there's also a GoFundMe page. So if you are feeling generous, and I know times are hard, but imagine this year, if you had nothing and someone was able to help, you'd like them to help. So even if you can give £1, it just edges away, chips away at the thing, and hopefully we can give him a send off that he deserves, because he was a polarizing figure, but he did a lot for the city. And like everybody, if the key to be remembered, the key to life is to be remembered, then he certainly was.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah, so
rest in peace, Jedi.
Rest in peace. So,
Nighttrate, man. Every time.
Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate being here. And believe it or not, Warren Tone is one of the guiding lights for Birmingham. And if you're not supporting him and you haven't already got him on any social medias, I would say that you are messing up. If you like dancehall, if you like calypso, if you like any of the Caribbean culture, then you got to get behind Warren Tone, because this guy has spent a lifetime pioneering, and that's coming from one pioneer to another.
Blessings, man. Respect. Who done that logo?
I don't know. I kind of like it. I might get to do my one.
Right, Jay, bless up every time.
Bless up, Maria. Thank you very much.
Nice.